Energy is the driving force behind a nation's economic and social progress. Brazil and the world cannot advance without electric power. Over the next decade, Brazil needs to increase its installed electricity generation capacity by 60%. Availability of electric power will help reduce social disparities and set the bases for sustainable economic growth. Brazil has the world's cleanest energy mix. Whereas in most countries of the developed world, renewable energy accounts for no more than 17% of electric power requirements, as compared to a world average of 19%, in Brazil, 86% of electricity produced comes from clean, renewable sources. At present, hydroelectric power plants provide 80.6% of the Brazilian electricity supply. Nonetheless, only 30% of the nation's hydroelectric potential has been harnessed, and utmost caution is always exercised when planning new projects. Studies on the Xingu River clearly illustrate this caution. The first hydropower potential surveys date from 1975. Initial studies foresaw generation capacity of 20,000 megawatts through construction of 6 power plants. However, to achieve this potential, an area of 18,000 square kilometers would have to be flooded. Since that time, Brazil has undergone profound changes, for the better. After numerous studies, in 2008, the Brazilian Energy Policy Council determined that Belo Monte would be the only hydroelectric plant in the Xingu River basin. This decision was taken not only on the basis of technical considerations, but above all, out of concern for the environment and respect for the views of local populations. Under this comprehensive energy policy approach, the Belo Monte feasibility studies advanced remarkably. The surface area of the reservoir was reduced by almost half, from 1,225 to 503 square kilometers. In its current form, roughly half the area of the reservoir will lie within the Xingu's natural riverbed. With this smaller reservoir, the project will cause no flooding of lands occupied by indigenous populations. A comprehensive survey of indigenous populations was carried out by organizations chosen by the communities. Over 30 public hearings were conducted in villages of the 12 indigenous communities living in the area of influence of Belo Monte. The outcome was a series of healthcare, education and environmental conservation programs designed to ensure respect and preservation of indigenous culture. Likewise, the interests of local townsfolk were not overlooked. Belo Monte will defray the entire cost of installation of basic sanitation infrastructure in the towns of Altamira and Vitória do Xingu. Families in Altamira, currently living in substandard housing, will receive new homes served by modern urban facilities. Indeed, measures targeted at serving the needs of local populations are already being deployed, even prior to start of construction. And new schools and health facilities are among the first such improvements. Safeguarding wildlife and the tropical rainforest also merits its special care and constant monitoring. The Belo Monte project will be investing 3,700 million reais in over 100 socio-economic and environmental projects. Belo Monte will be the world's third largest hydroelectric power plant, with installed capacity of 11,233 megawatts. Its highly original design will harness the 90-meter drop between Altamira and the point where the BR-230 highway crosses the Xingu River immediately downstream from the Big Bend. A dam will be built at Pimental, 40 kilometers from Altamira, from which a 20-kilometer canal will divert a portion of the river's flow to a reservoir. The main power plant, located at the Belo Monte site, will generate 11,000 megawatts using 18 Francis turbines. At the Pimental site, a secondary powerhouse will generate a further 233 megawatts using 6 bulb turbines. Alongside the secondary powerhouse, a spillway will direct flows from the dam to the big bend of the Xingu to maintain the flows mandated in studies. This design enables maintenance of natural water levels in the Xingu River, a significant reduction of areas flooded, preservation of 27,000 hectares as permanent protection areas, no flooding of indigenous areas, and improved living standards for riverside populations. In 2010, Norte Energia won the tender for the concession to build Belo Monte and market electricity produced. Work on this huge and complex hydroelectric site will be ongoing until 2019. In 2013, when work is fully underway at the project's 4 work sites, some 20,000 direct jobs and 40,000 indirect jobs will have been created. Electric power generation is an essential component for fostering sustainable development, and Norte Energia has an outstanding role to play in building the future, generating employment, income and progress for Brazil as a whole.